Welcome to the Undrafted, Uncensored cast of Pod. Hosted by Nick Archuleta. Mosted by Colin Zanger. And last but certainly is least, Joseph Goodwin.
Welcome in, everyone, to the Undrafted Uncensored, where it's Labor Day. We're going to talk a lot of football, and Colin's going to mess with things with your screen, so don't get confused.
No. I'm not messing with them yet. I'm going to do it after the show and figure it out.
Do it during the show. It's more fun that way.
Do it during the show. I've missed 2 weeks. I haven't seen you guys for 2 weeks. We got lots to talk about, a lot to go over.
Well, let's start.
The time for messing around is later.
There's some things.
My trip was phenomenal. New York, great. Staying in Times Square, awesome. You see a lot of strange things.
Oh yeah.
First thing I did when I got to New York, obviously check into my hotel. Grab the subway grab the train over to my hotel. Excuse me.
There you go.
Check in, drop my stuff off, walk around Times Square, find the busiest pizza place around, get in line for an hour to get 3 slices of pie.
It was an hour.
Totally worth it. Then I got €1 from a street vendor.
Nice.
Love the food out in New York and love all
Dirty
the
water dog
that you have. No, I got €1.
You didn't have a dirty water dog while you're there?
No. I mean, I had. Well,
and I love that.
I not in that first trip. So then,
okay.
The next day, I got up and went around to buy some stuff and found an awesome little bakery place. Had some s'mores macaroons, totally dope, delicious, and worth every penny of it. And I had 3 different hot dogs from 3 different street vendors that day. So crushed this what do you call it? The New York Super Dog thing. I don't know what they all have different names, but they were all bomb. Of course, the best one was the one that was the Nathan's or the Hebrew National. Excuse me.
Oh yeah,
the Hebrew National. I'll be frank, that was the best stand because the hot dog was the best. And they didn't rip me off like one of the other guys did, charging me $10 for a dog, which I was like, whatever. Yeah. At that time, you're like, kind of whatever. I mean, I don't really care. I'm not going to sit there and argue he made the dog, and I should have asked beforehand, and I knew that from before, but I don't really care. I got to go spend time with family. Shout out to Chrisana, my cousin Chrisana, picking me up and let me hang out with Greg and their son Nolan, and we were just or Carter. Nolan is away at college, but yes, he's the baseball player, all-star stud baseball player. Excited for his senior year and his college commitment, and then hung out with my other cousin Lori, met their family, went down to the beach, met the family, went with Lori's husband Jung to the Yankees game, and got a sweet ass ring. I should have pulled it out of my bag to show off, but I didn't have enough time, so I got a replica ring of the 2009. I was gonna say I can't remember which one, but 2009 championship. The Yankee Stadium is really cool. It was great. It was a great experience. I hated leaving the Jersey Shore and my family, which is not the Jersey Shore that you see on MTV, but hated leaving the shore at Long Beach Island, and really hated that because I had to leave my aunt Ronnie, who is awesome. I mean, they're all awesome, but had to leave that. Had ice cream every night at the Jersey Shore, but to Yankee Stadium. Walking up to Yankee Stadium, awesome. It looks old school. They did a great job making it. It does look. My dog is trying to get up. You want to be on TV or on YouTube?
Both.
So walking up, it was really cool because it looked very old timey. They did a great job. Got in line for the what's not the walk, whatever. The Legends. Where all the plaques are. Monument Park. Got in line right away. Home dude thought that we were skipping in line for some reason and stopped us for no reason. And then all the other people in line were like, no, they were waiting with everyone else. You told them to go ahead. And so got an apology from the guy, which was cool. Jung knew all the stuff about the park, which was cool. So we walked around, did a bunch of stuff, had a pretty good Euro there, had a hot Polish dog at the park. But walked around, watched. At one point during the game, I gave him crap. I was like, I hope we should take a picture now while the Yankees are winning because they won't be winning for long. I was like, I'm just kidding. The Rockies suck. They're into the bullpen, so it's over. And they start off the 5th inning, I think it was 5th or maybe 6th inning. And it was I can't remember who hits before. Maybe it was Soto.
Then Judge,
So Soto hits a home run, and I turn to my cousin-in-law, Jung, my cousin's husband. So yeah, cousin-in-law. And I was like, hey, they probably go. I was like back to back, and he was like, hey, yeah. And Aaron Judge hits a bomb. I was like, oh, there he goes. And then he turns to me afterwards. He's like, back to back to back. I'm like, sure, why not? It wouldn't surprise me. And then Stanton goes back to back to back with a shot to center field. And the Yankees fans were all excited, and it was fun. Like, I got some looks with my Rockies hat, and it's like, oh, I was like, our team sucks. Like, I don't care. But the stadium is cool.
They'll talk a little shit, but for the most part, Yankee fans are good people.
Well, they know that the Rockies are not even competition. Yeah. And yeah, it was really good group, really good fan base. Really cool. Went through the history museum there, all the history with the Yankee Stadium. I mean, there's so much in there and so much history, but it was cool to see all the different pieces of Yankee history there. I got my picture taken inside I got my own oh my goodness. I got my own not dugout. No, they didn't have baseball cards. I got my own oh man, locker. I got my own locker.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
So I had a locker in Yankee Stadium for about a minute and a half, and that was dope. So, I mean, amazing time, really good. And then the next day I got up real early, went out, got a bunch of New Jersey, New York bagels, East Coast bagels, which are the best. Man, I have a few in my fridge still. I had to pack them. I was like, I'm glad I could pack some extra stuff on this trip. And and it was it's fun. I don't know if I could stay in Times Square all the time, but man, there's definitely a different energy there when you're going there that is pretty exciting. And there's so many things to do. It's one of those things that I think about when I travel a lot. There's so many things to do in New York and all these other places I've been. And that also means there's so many things to do in Colorado that I still haven't done either. So if you can't travel, get out and explore your city wherever you're at. And that's kind of one of my goals during this fall and winter when baseball's done is explore more Colorado, because so many unique things about all these cities I go to.
Yeah.
Colorado's no different. So I think it's really given me appreciation for not just being able to travel, but about Colorado too and all the other things that we have.
Well, I mean, being here too, it's cheaper too, because you don't have to necessarily get a hotel either. Or Airbnb or something. You could just, hour and a half, 2 hours up into the mountains, and you can wander around all day long and just enjoy yourself. I mean, we take for granted we have all these beautiful mountains out here, and we're just like, I'll go later.
Yeah. No, I'll see it sometime. We'll go up at some point. All right.
I know what's up there. I don't need to go now.
Yeah, there's trees and animals. And speaking of animals, there's the animal right there.
He see, now he's camera shy. He won't even look in the camera.
So. Oh, come on, Fred the Frank.
He had to say hi. Yeah.
He's a good dog.
He's like, I'm nervous. I wanted you to pick me up, but now I don't know what to do.
What's funny is like some angles when he like moves his head, looks like he's just a stuffed dog or a puppet.
Right.
Yeah.
Until he starts blinking, and then you're like, oh yeah, he is real.
Or Colin has one of those like really weird animatronic dog things.
Yes, that's what I spent all my money on. Oh, okay, he's done. He's like, oh, I got up on the lap.
Apparently, too, did because she saw Laco.
There you go. Yep, we're getting dog comments.
That's my sister.
Oh, sweet. Tell her I said hi.
What's up, sister?
Hi, sister.
Thank you for watching. Love you.
Anything else you need to throw at us before we get growing?
Man, I mean, like I said, all the food out there. I just can't say how lucky I am to have such great family and friends, and all the support that we've gotten for this, and all the opportunities that have been provided for me and that have come about. Like I'm just so grateful to be doing this with you guys, be able to talk about it and share this with you two, and then everyone else watching. Just very blessed, very happy, and can't say how excited I am for all these things to come.
You know what's even more exciting? It is officially football season.
Football time!
Football time, baby.
What
So
time
we'll
is it?
start on a high note. It was a little butt crunching a little bit, but the Buffs pulled out a win. I'm gonna throw this out there, and this is not I know you guys know I'm a CSU guy, but I had to listen to the game mostly because I was doing fish, and so listening to the game and what I was able to catch on ESPN, they still do not establish a run game, and that is going to kill them. I get you have Travis Hunter. I get you have Shedeur Sanders. You have two of the best dudes on the offensive side of the ball working together. But at some point, that's not that. Look at last season. It's gonna work against you, and if you lose Travis Hunter, you lose your offense.
Well,
I mean, come on, Nick. It's really difficult to run the ball out of 3 wide.
And shotgun. I mean, didn't Peyton Manning prove that with some of it, how difficult it was? The one thing I will say is the pushback that I'll give you is like, yeah, it's going to be tough to run and you can't win. But also, if you're a realistic fan of watching this team, like, who are you saying it's going to be tough to win against? Is it going to be tough to win against Alabama if you can't establish both sides or both parts of the offense? Yeah, of course. Is it going to be tough against, well, I was going to say Baylor because they have a coach who apparently doesn't know how to call plays or who's scared of it. Is it going to be tough against CSU? Is it going to be tough against Nebraska? It depends on the level of competition you're talking about where you have to try to establish that. So, no, I don't think it really matters much because of what CU is going to do and the expectations on them and where they're going to go this year. If they want to be a legitimate college football playoff team and play in a national championship, yeah, then it affects them. But for what they're going to do, you're fine. Run and gun. Let's go. Shootouts. Because the defense can't stop anyone.
Right up until they figure it out, though. I mean, CU had some games last year, especially against Nebraska, where they did not score very many points. There's very few where they didn't break 20, but it's going to be a problem. And yeah, I like to make fun of Pat Shurmur and say that of course you can't run when you're exclusively calling plays out of 3 wide. You can't run the ball on the goal line out of 3 wide. I don't know why everyone expected that. But yeah, we just expect him to go with other formations, and it's never happening. There's just some kind of disconnect with that team. It just doesn't feel cohesive. Maybe it gets more cohesive as they go forward, but man, without having the context of why that big play attempt at the very end of the game when they had to run the clock out, and apparently Shedeur decided to check into a pass because he found it disrespectful that they played the run in an obvious running situation. Without knowing the context of that, I'm over here laughing my ass off, making fun of Pat Shurmur. Like, look, they practiced incompletions, and it's showing up in the games. Good work, everyone. Just good work all around. And it's on paper, it seemed okay. It's gonna be rough.
He's there.
Well,
he's kind of there. There it is.
Ooh, is this one
you're getting a little choppy. Yeah, the other thing I was going to say. Yeah, it's kind of hard to have running plays if your quarterback is calling out of running plays too. But yeah, you said the context about that. Joe might be frozen. You might have to restart, Joe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out. But
you're on a trampoline right now.
But at the end, like I said, for what CU is, who they are as a team, they're not going to worry about running the ball. Yeah, they're going to try and establish it in some of the games and do that. But the games that they're going to win or lose is not really dependent upon being able to establish a running game. Is Shedeur, is Travis, is Horn, are those guys ready to play? Because they're going to have to outscore teams. And that's really what it comes down to. And I know you mentioned the Nebraska game, Joe, from last year, that it was like 17-13 or something like that. It was a little scoring, but I don't see defensive struggles a lot on the board ahead for this CU team, as far as game plans go.
I don't know. Maybe I had higher expectations for them and expected them to learn from last season. Should have known better when Pat Shermer was hired as the OC, but I mean, I figured maybe a step down would make him seem a little bit smarter.
Why?
I don't know. Sometimes people just do better when they regress.
Okay, so let's just set the preface for the show. Nick has been drinking the CU Buffs Kool-Aid. We'll see how much Kool-Aid he's been drinking for the Denver Broncos coming up. We already know he started. He probably started with a little dabble of the CU Buffs. He probably has a gallon jug of the Kool-Aid for the Denver Broncos.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Colin already starting. Well, so you can see where I established this level of Kool-Aid drinking. CSU got their asses handed to them, which they rightfully deserve the way they played. And if you want to show up for a quarter against the number 4 team in the nation, that's what's going to happen. They looked awful. There was no protection. Fowler Nicolosi was just running for his life, pretty much, it felt like. And you can't carry the ball for 2 yards and expect to get a first down.
That math does not math.
It does not math.
Unless you're CU and have 5 downs, and even then, you might get unlucky. And I have a feeling CSU, even if they did have 5 downs, wouldn't have gotten it.
No.
With the way they played.
They still would have gone backwards.
I mean, the best part about that game, let's not lie, was seeing Arch Manning.
Yeah, you're welcome, world. First look at Arch Manning.
Thanks, CSU.
I mean, I knew going in that game they were going to get their doors blown off anyway. I had no expectations for them to stay in the game or win. I was hoping they would at least put something on the board, or like at least in the first quarter score once or twice, so it looked like it was a football game.
Well, they did put up something. They put up that stupid flag over Jay Norvell while he's calling plays.
I didn't see that. I missed that one.
Oh, man.
Every single time he's calling a play, this fucking intern shows up with like an 8-foot flag and just goes like this and is like holding it in front of him so that the cameras and stands, the Connor Stallions of the world can't, steal his signs.
God.
It's like, dude, you're CSU. No one is trying to steal your plays. And the comment I had,
especially not Texas.
No,
yeah. Well, it's for the future teams. The comment I had about it, I forget who I was talking to. One of the hosts yesterday. I was pretty tired in the morning, but it was like, how much you want to bet he stopped doing that after week 3?
Yeah.
It looks pretty foolish. Yeah, it's one of those. It looks like it's on 2 big poles. Looks like one of those accordion style things that you just get for the fans that you wipe out.
Then like some other teams like use those for like setting not their lineup, but like their unit or whatever. Yeah. So if you have like offenses,
so you don't know which team is coming out.
Yeah.
Or it's some of the players. It's going away.
That
quick.
makes more sense. Holding it over, dude. It's pure comedy. I want to see everyone start doing that. I want to see like high school coaches do this shit. Just have a big flag in front of them because who knows, man? Someone could be watching.
Yeah.
I want to see Belichick do it and like in a post game or pre-game analysis thing.
It was like I said, I expected CSU to. I mean, this was clearly Texas' tune-up game. We all knew that going in when they're playing Colorado State University. I'm like, no, that's a massive L right there. Just take it now. And they took it all right.
They took it. Yeah,
they definitely took it.
That was bad. I'm trying to find a picture of it. I can't. There's probably
you're fine.
Of the flags. Yeah,
yes.
Dude. They almost would have been better off not playing a lot of their starters for more time. Like just going with backups and stuff. Because like you don't have a chance in this game. You are the tune-up game for Texas.
Yeah.
You're only going to demoralize your guys. Because your tune-up game was UNC now this
weekend.
So that's the game where you really need. You could almost argue this is just like a a glorified preseason game that sadly counts on your schedule. But
Yeah.
CSU is not going to be one of those teams going for the CFP or anything. Maybe they could build something like that up, years in the future. But like it's they are who we thought they were. So at that point, yeah, you might as well just take the L, move on, and really, because that almost hurts Braden Fowler-Nicolosi's draft stock.
Yeah.
By seeing him in his primetime game in week 1 against a really good team, just not able to do anything. Like he could have, and he still could, move up and be a draft pick type guy. But right now, like, it doesn't look good for him.
I mean, one thing, this weekend was really great because you know what? The Broncos this next year, when they get the high draft pick, they can take Travis Hunter.
Oh, here we go.
And then in 2 years, it's Arch Manning. You got a preview of 2 future Broncos.
So you're just out on Bo Nix already?
Of course he is. He's expecting him to win.
Because he was excited about Bo Nix last we talked.
No, I'm just saying. I don't. Well, I mean, we'll go into it, but I just don't think the Broncos might have 2 straight seasons of higher draft picks. That's what I'm saying.
Calling Bo Nix a bust already. That's all I'm hearing.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing too.
It could be. I mean, we can get into it. You can see. Are you ready for the official almost season time real picks of the season?
Let me
for real this time
touch on the Ore Diggers real quick.
Oh,
we do have one more football team that's important.
What?
They're ranked number 5 right now in Division 2, the AFCA. They lost some key players: Levi Johnson, John Matoka. They got some big holes to fill. They've been to 2 back-to-back national championships and still have yet to win the big one. Is this where they finally win the big one?
Maybe.
Sometimes it's funny how these things work out. You had a team for 2 straight years who was considered one of the best, if not the best, in your whole league. And these guys are studs. And then you have this next crop who you don't think is as talented, but sometimes that maybe view of lack of talent really transforms itself into team and chemistry and an us against the world type of thing, the nobody believed in us type of moments where they go out and win it all. And I can see that happening for Mines and the Ore Diggers going out there and really saying, hey, we lost these guys, but we're more than just a couple of guys. And, they're a whole team of guys. But we're more than just those players that were on our squad the last 2 years and going out and shocking everyone. So I think that, I think it's a very good possibility they do that. It's not going to be easy, but
no,
we've seen these stories and these things happen. I mean, if we can go to the Major League Baseball. What happened with the Washington Nationals?
Oh,
say goodbye to your big star, and guess what you do? You go and win it all. I mean, we have seen these stories. The Braves without Ronald Acuna Jr. I mean, there are time and time again where it's not just this one guy or these 2 guys, whatever it is, that are the team, where teams rally behind each other and go out and win it all. So I think that's a really big thing. I mean, we want to go to the NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs, Tyreek Hill, adios. I mean, you still have the best quarterback in the NFL, but
yeah. Basketball, the 1999 Knicks. Patrick Ewing goes down. They go to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Nice pull.
Nice pull.
Nice pull. That was impressive.
Sports.
All right. So, Colin's excited. I have a piece of paper. Last time we did this is well before preseason. I had the Broncos winning 7 games.
Mm-hmm.
Colin had the Broncos winning 2 games. And Joe had the Broncos winning 6 games. 2 of us took the over with Vegas.
Yes, 5.5 still.
So let's go ahead and go down the schedule. pull this out real
Schedule.
quick so I can schedule. Let's
Number
see if
one.
it's better. Where'd it go? There it is. Oops. Sorry, I'm trying to move my screen around here so I can actually see this again.
No, but Colin's right. If you could tap more in a rhythm so we could bob our heads to it, that'd be great.
Yep. That thing about typing earlier and that you wouldn't have to be typing during the show, Nick. I remember.
I wasn't typing technically. I was just dragging my screen, dragging windows. So deal with it.
I believe you. Absolutely.
All right. Week 1. Denver Broncos, Sunday, 9/8, 2:05 p.m. Open at Lumen Field against the Seattle Seahawks. Colin, win or loss?
There's a part of me that has been drinking the Kool-Aid and is like, the Broncos are going to come out and win this game because I really don't think Seattle's defense is as good as it used to be. And I want to see Bo Nix get off to a hot start. And I really just don't know what is going on in Seattle on offense, because is Geno Smith the 2 years ago comeback player of the year, or is he the guy we saw last year who was just an average, kind of below average? And will Patrick Surtain mess with DK Metcalf enough to really screw him up? And you know what the conclusion I've come to is the Broncos win their opener.
Oh,
Beating Seattle in Seattle.
Here we go. Joe?
You know, I think just to stick with the theme of changing your ideas, I'm kind of on the opposite now. With how everything's gone, I feel like this team still has a chance to do some more stuff, but like the loss of Tim Patrick really deprives the Broncos of a go-to third down guy that you can rely on. Courtland Sutton has too many of those drops. So unless one of those receivers just comes out of nowhere and balls out, I don't feel like the Broncos have the offensive capabilities to move the ball enough. And Seattle's defense isn't that great like it used to be, but their coach is a defensive coordinator, so he's going to lean more on that defense than anything else. But Geno has been hurt the past couple weeks. He's practiced. He's going to play. But it's dude, I feel like this is going to end up being a slog that I think the Broncos end up losing.
All right. I am confident in Bo Nix, obviously. He was the one I wanted the Broncos to draft. I see what you're saying about Tim Patrick and Courtland Sutton, but you have to remember the Broncos also drafted Bo Nix's best friend, who's a wide receiver.
He's not playing. Sorry.
He doesn't play. Yeah, he's not even going to suit up. They're going to elevate little Jordan Humphrey.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm just saying there's other ways to fill that hole, but I mean, Bo's established he's got a good ability to read coverages. He can get himself out of trouble. He doesn't take sacks unless he, is absolutely being demolished.
Unless he takes sacks.
Him. I'm going to go with week 1 as a win. To the home opener, September 15th. Denver Broncos host the Pittsburgh Steelers. Joe?
This is the Broncos Super Bowl. Like, Russell Wilson seems to be in line to start this game. This is the one I've had circled all year. Like, this is the one. This is the W. The Broncos got to come out and do this. This is going to be, this is one of the most meaningful games I feel like this year. Is this, and then, breaking the Raiders win streak.
Colin?
See, this is also Russell Wilson's Super Bowl too. And I worry because Tomlin, as he is such a player's coach, and he will have those guys out there and ready and get them fired up to go play against the Broncos. And as weird and as bad as Pittsburgh's offense might be, they still have 2 pretty damn good running backs. They have no wide receivers, but that doesn't matter because the Broncos have no one to stop the run. And their defense, as long as Watt stays healthy through week 1 into week 2, Broncos lose this game.
This one I was on the fence with because for the same reason. This is everybody's Super Bowl right here. And the Broncos are going to come out. They're going to be hyped. It's the home opener. It's going to be loud. It's going to be way different than they played against Arizona. Russ may be the quarterback still at that point. We don't know if Russ is out in week 1 and they just don't want to deal with his antics. Either way, they have to deal with his antics, and I think his antics irritate the Steelers enough that the Broncos slide by with a victory by like 2 points.
Oh, so Will Lutz field goal that he doesn't miss at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Better not.
That's that. Hey, yeah, put your money on that one.
It won't be at the end of the game. It'll be like in the third quarter.
Oh, yeah, because there's no scoring in the fourth quarter. My sister also votes for Seattle beating the Broncos. So now we have an in family feud.
Uh-oh.
I believe in Bo Nixon. You don't.
Week 3, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Broncos head to Raymond James Stadium. Colin?
Yeah, it's a big fat L. 11 a.m. East Coast. Never good for the Broncos. Rarely good for the Broncos.
Yeah.
Is this this is not a year to the day, but it's pretty close to the 70 burger that the Dolphins put on them. So,
and that team also plays in Florida.
Yep. So it is the first of back-to-back East Coast games, and very young team. I don't like their chances. So yeah, no, loss.
Joe?
Yeah, I think I'm with Colin there. That it just feels like Tampa has more going on. They're an older team too, so they may end up kind of faltering later in the season. But for now, I think and they have enough good receivers too that they can just, hopefully not show this is like the way to do it, but they could probably pick on Riley Moss and get a bunch of touchdowns to Chris Godwin.
Oh, all right. L number 2. L number 3 right here from me. I don't trust Denver to fly to Miami, play in Miami in Tampa. We saw what they did in Miami last year. We know their history of playing in Florida, and Tampa Bay is just a better team than the Broncos anyway.
Yep.
So
that's a good point, Joe. Tampa Bay might falter as the season goes along.
As the season goes, yeah.
Early on,
like, dude,
if they had drawn this game later in the season, I would have maybe leaned a little bit more, but I can't.
Yeah.
Early in the season, I mean, Baker's going to run that offense solidly. Sorry.
Smooth.
All right. Joe.
Yep.
Broncos, as Colin mentioned, head to the East Coast again the next week. They go to MetLife Stadium and play in New Jersey against the New York Jets. Jets.
MetLife.
I know this is Joe's pick, but they are staying out on the East Coast in Virginia, just so you
know.
Yeah, that's.
I'm glad you mentioned. I almost forgot to mention that. Thank you.
That's one the Broncos had their chance to get their revenge on Hackett when the Jets were bad, and now the Jets look not bad. So that's Breece Hall. I mean, Nick and I were sitting next to each other both times when he decided to go off for big touchdowns in stadiums. So thank God that Nick and I can't both go to this game.
Yeah, right.
I feel like there's going to be one of those shocker wins in there from one of those better teams. I don't know if this is it. I feel bad, flipping and going to 1-3 already, but I think that's going to end up being. The Jets just feel John Franklin Myers wanting to show his old team he's good, but I don't. No, I think the Jets take it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's too tough. We also don't have any idea what this Jets offense is going to look like with Aaron Rodgers at the helm. I mean, we saw 4 snaps last year, and they've upgraded considerably. Well,
is it
4? It was his 4th snap.
Yeah, it's 4th snap. So we're hoping for 5 this year.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was 4 plays, and then okay. I can't count.
But you could argue that they have obviously upgraded besides the Aaron Rodgers position with getting Mike Williams in there as another really good wide receiver who just hasn't been able to stay healthy when he was with the Chargers. And he's a big weapon. And if Surtain shuts down Garrett Wilson as much as he can, you still have issues and questions on the other side. And Brees Hall. I mean, if Brees Hall didn't tear his ACL after that 65-yard touchdown run against the Broncos, he was going for like 250 that day.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the first quarter, and he had 115 yards or something.
Well, he was deadly that day.
So, the Jets have the Broncos number. As much as I hate it, Hackett continues to do that, unless Zach Wilson is the starting quarterback, and then Wilson somehow beats his former team.
Ooh!
Wow!
I don't.
We're gonna record that one for sure.
Sure, yeah,
I'm gonna keep that one in the back pocket just in case.
The 35-minute mark.
Yep, there it is. That is a take.
I appreciate what the Broncos are doing, trying to stay on the East Coast and not change time zones 4 different times. It's not going to help them. It's still Aaron Rodgers under center. Until, I mean, if he shows me something week 1 or his other Achilles snaps, I still can't trust the Broncos to beat Aaron Rodgers. He's still a Hall of Famer. He's still Aaron Rodgers. He still knows exactly what he's doing, even if he is drinking ayahuasca and trying to get Pat McAfee to go on a darkness retreat with him. I'm at 2-2 right now, and I'm throwing them another L.
Oh,
I'm surprised you want to make sure you get that take when you don't want to clip the take of me saying the Broncos take Travis Hunter and then Arch Manning. You just don't even want to acknowledge the fact that Bo Nix might not be it.
I want to live in your brain for a day and just the chaos that must ensue. Like all I see are like these little germs in The Simpsons when the doctor's like trying to show how Mr. Burns is still alive and push them all through the door, and they call it the Three Stooges syndrome, where they're like they can't get in because they're all blocking the door. Those little germs are your brain cells like functioning and literally fighting with each other.
You heard it here first, folks. Colin says Bo Nix is a bust.
And I can I'll bring up Sidney Crosby again for the 4th straight year.
Ooh, you know who the Broncos should trade for?
Sidney Crosby.
A 3rd-round pick.
How about week 5 against the Raiders? How do we feel about them, Colin? It's at home.
That one is at home.
77 unis.
And that's really dope too. I didn't even know that, and honestly, I think that gives a little bit more juice to this. It doesn't change my pick because I do think the Broncos win this. I think the Raiders after this offseason are in trouble.
Joseph?
Yeah, I want. Sorry, I just wrote the wrong thing for Colin. I've just been putting L's, so it's just supposed to have it. It's like, oh wait, I gotta put a different one
because I put the W in the wrong column for a second there.
Hilarious.
Oh man, we already have controversy on my picks.
Everything's going wrong. No, this is another one of those big games that I feel like the Broncos need to come out for. If they're playing the 77 uniforms, like whoo, those things are fucking sweet. That's got to be a dub. That's too cool. That's too much fun. Hopefully it's against Aiden O'Connell.
And I agree. We've all seen what the Raiders have become. They do this once every 10 years where they just completely become trash, and they get revived for about 2 years. They look like a football team, and then they fall apart again. So back on the positive side, 3-2 for me. Colin's at 2-3. Joe is at 2-3. Which brings us to week 6. The Los Angeles Chargers make their way to Empower Field at Mile High for a 2:05 afternoon game. Joe, are the Chargers better this year?
No. They lost Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and Austin Eckler. I don't think they're better. They might be decent. They're gonna be a very different team for sure. It kind of feels like those old Broncos teams with Dan Reeves, how it's just going to be run the ball, defense, and then at the end of the game, they'll have their quarterback with the big arm do some stuff with a bunch of no-name receivers. That actually worked way too well, that analogy. But it feels like a winnable game. I feel like Sean Payton really wants to win those division games. And I feel like some of that young team moxie will still be there at this early point in the season, so I'll give him a win.
Yeah, the Chargers are going to beat the Broncos, and I mean, I think there is a notion too for Harbaugh. You got to remember the Broncos chose Peyton over Harbaugh, or would not offer Harbaugh what he wanted. So he has a point of, he wants to make a point to the Denver Broncos also, and I think that Justin Herbert, regardless of what happens with Bo Nix, Justin Herbert is a better quarterback than Bo Nix right now. And they might have lost those receivers, but I think they still have. I don't know if Quentin Johnson will ever catch the ball, but guess what? Their slot receiver and Ladd McConkey, who's a rookie, is damn good. And Josh Palmer, who has been one of those guys who also can't. It's just a Chargers thing. No one can stay healthy in LA, especially if you're Tyrod Taylor. Avoid the needles. So
save your lungs, folks.
If they can stay healthy, I mean, if they're healthy with their roster right now, I take the Chargers beating the Broncos.
Yeah, this one gets tough because, like you said, the Harbaugh thing is going to be the biggest point right now because the Broncos sounded like they were going Harbaugh and then it pulled the wool out from under him in the last second. And we all know how Harbaughs get when they get angry. They get vendetta or vindictive, and they have a vendetta and they want to prove everything. So this one's gonna be a tough one because I think it'll be a closer game at least, but I gotta give that one to the Chargers.
I'm just picturing that SNL sketch where the Hulk gets all super mad, but he gets like really short and weak, and everyone in the bar beats the crap out of him. You know what happens when Harbaugh gets angry.
Yeah, they break 100 rushing yards in the game in the fourth quarter, and then Angio runs out on the field. Yeah,
you end up getting hit by the Gus bus.
The Harbaughs, they hold grudges and vendettas. Like you said, the Chargers are they're gonna beat the Broncos.
Yeah, week 7, the one primetime game the Broncos get to play on Amazon Prime.
2.
Is it 2?
Yeah, Cleveland Browns at the end of the season.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that one.
You're good.
Huge.
Thursday, the New Orleans Saints will be hosting the Denver Broncos at Caesars Superdome in Nolens. Peyton gets to make his return to Nolens wearing the orange and blue.
Orange and blue, and the Broncos lose.
Really?
Short week going down there. And the Saints, I think, the Saints are just. You have a guy like Alvin Kamara and Chris Olave out there. I don't think the Broncos have the answer for, in particular, Alvin Kamara. And then you add Taysom Hill in with that. They're going to struggle against these gadget type of players, no matter how well Sean Payton knows them. The short week in traveling also is a big reason behind that for me too.
Joe?
Despite none of the Broncos having been on the team at the times when this was accurate, the Broncos know how to beat Derek Carr. So I'm going to take the Broncos. I think Sean Payton, again, has that. This is one of those games he has circled. He wants to beat his old team because it's largely the same team. There's not a lot of players that have really left. Like, obviously, the quarterback is different because, was like Ian Book when he left. So Taysom Hill is still there, but he's not the starter. So I feel like he's going to be one of those, this feels like one where it's that mid-season win streak that makes us think the Broncos are good. And then, they're not. So,
but Nick will think they're great.
I can't wait.
They're great. Not yet. They're not great.
Super Bowl bound.
I'm just remembering last year.
Hey, somebody had to be positive around here. It's easy to be negative.
Someone also
the Rockies yet.
Someone also could be right.
You're right, Nick. It's hard to be right.
It is. It's so hard to be right all the time.
I don't know.
That loss against the Chargers going into that Thursday night game. I'm already assuming Peyton's looking past the Chargers to the Saints.
Very true.
Because he wants this one so bad that I can understand the Broncos losing week 6 to sacrifice for a win for Week 7 in New Orleans to show those fans that he still got it.
Still got it.
I know he's going to give the cliche. I'm looking 1 week at a time. Bullshit. We all know you want that game. You can't say you don't.
That's a good point. I could see that happening. I think if the Broncos do come out in this game and really just demolish the Saints, that's a good sign for the future. And I hope that does happen, because it really does mean that these guys are bought into Sean Payton and what he's preaching. I think it might be too tall of a task for this young team.
It could be. And I'm not taking away from the Saints. I'm looking at Sean Payton and his ability to bring a team up and really hyper focus on a certain opponent. And we all know he's going to do that here.
You heard it here first, folks. Nick hates the Saints.
Week 8, the Broncos stay home. Finally, they play the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers. Joe?
Oh, man. Now that I made my joke about the win streak that makes you think the Broncos look good, this is absolutely the game that they're supposed to win, that they just fucking eat shit on and just lose. Like, this is going to be, I think this is the game they should win, but they don't. Maybe Andy Dalton comes out and throws a bunch to is it Deontay Johnson still there? But like, dude,
Bryce Young. Instead of Bryce Young.
Exactly, because Bryce Young, I don't see him doing it. Yeah, let's take Carolina. It feels bad.
After losing to the Saints and the Jameis Winston's famous "bite that W, it tastes good." Yeah, the Broncos.
Yeah,
Broncos win this game. They haven't with the extra time to prepare. This is the Broncos win.
All right. I had a joke, but I was making fun of Colin in my head with the bite the W, and I forgot what it was now. It was about Joe. Anyway, it's Carolina. They're miserable right now. That's a dub for the Broncos, which moves us to Week 9, where this schedule becomes just painful. And we'll start with the Broncos traveling to Baltimore, M&T Bank Stadium, where they will be hosted by the Baltimore Ravens and the future NFL MVP Lamar Jackson.
Are we all going to go the same way?
That's possible.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
I think the Broncos are kind of an underdog. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, it's we're all going the same way.
Yeah. Which takes us to the next week, where they travel a little bit less east to Geha Field at Arrowhead Stadium, and they will play the Kansas City Chiefs at 11 a.m. 11 a.m. against the Chiefs.
Somebody once told me this world is going to roll me, and we're looking kind of dumb with our finger and our thumb in the shape of an L on our foreheads.
Yeah, we're all in the
We don't have many all-stars.
Nope, they won't get their game on. They won't go play.
And the years start coming, and they don't stop 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 coming.
Moves us to Week 11. The Broncos will stay home to host the Atlanta Falcons at 2:05 at a Power Field on Fox. And Week 11, Colin?
Yeah, the Falcons are going to beat the Broncos. I mean, this could be one of those where the Falcons don't play up to the Broncos and they could sneak out the victory, but the Falcons are just way better. If Kirk Cousins plays like I assume he'll play, he is. While we're watching Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons beat the Broncos, that's about where I think Bo Nix's ceiling is Kirk Cousins.
Wow.
Oh, you like that, Nick?
It stings a little. I'm going to let that go. I'm going to let that roll down my back. Move on to Joe.
This is one of those toss-up games, I feel like, because Atlanta's been one of those teams that's been underachieving with a bunch of talent for years. And we don't know that they're going to all of a sudden start achieving with all of this talent. They have a new coach, so they're not going to be wasting Bijan Robinson anymore, it seems like. But I don't know, man. They've got – their defense is a question mark too, because it's been good, but this literally could go anywhere. Bucket, Broncos win.
All right. I mean, you kind of nailed it for me. With new coaching now, and they will probably actually understand that they have Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, he's on the team. Yeah,
it's actually a good idea to let him play and do what he does and give him the football. I still see it being a close game, but I'm gonna lean towards the Falcons for now, just because it's just more of in their hands right now. The Broncos still aren't there yet. To week 12, the Broncos travel to Las Vegas, Nevada, and take on the Raiders again. Joe?
At this point in the season, it feels like the playoffs will probably be gone. They're not going to be worried about winning games. Losing to the Raiders is kind of like a win to an extent, because you get to pick ahead of them potentially, because they're also going to be bad. So, and I don't know. I don't feel like the Broncos are going to sweep any division rivals this year. So I'll take the L.
Yeah, and then a little bit of foreshadowing for me. The Broncos' last opportunity to get a victory on the season is here against the Raiders, and I don't think they take advantage. Joe has a very good point that they are playing for the future, and I think you also see that the trade deadline has passed and they don't have Cortland Sutton anymore, or a combination of some other players. Maybe Javonte Williams is no longer Bronco. Also, because a team loses their running back, which is bound to happen, and they trade him away. So I think this Broncos team at this point too, which is something that we haven't really covered, but it looks much different in this game. And you're right, they're playing for next year. And Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Raiders are too beat down at this point. The Broncos will definitely take advantage of it because it's the Raiders. I'm going to give them the dub. Week 13.
I'm going to give them the
dub. Primetime game, ESPN. Monday Night Football. The Denver Broncos host the Cleveland Browns. Colin?
Well, as I said, there's not going to be another win on the schedule. The one I'll give more reason for is the next one. But yeah, it's a loss.
Joe?
Yeah, I don't even think they could beat the Browns' backup quarterback. So it just, and honestly, at this point, maybe Chubb is back. Like this does not look winnable. This looks like a slog.
I forgot one thing with that Broncos Raiders game too. Another reason why it's a loss.
Yes.
Real quick but it's important to mention.
Yeah,
that's their third game in 14 days and third game in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So
that's a good point. I didn't think about that. So nice piece there. Week 14 is a bye. I'm throwing the Broncos an L.
Bye.
Yeah.
I might be dumb, but I'm not stupid.
Bye.
Week 14 is a bye. Week 15, the Broncos will host the Indianapolis Colts at home at 2:25. Coming off of the bye week, Colin.
It's a loss. If Anthony Richardson is healthy, it's a loss. I'm going to assume he stays healthier this season. Jonathan Taylor's back for them. The Broncos struggle against running quarterbacks. They always have. And I'm not saying Anthony Richardson is a great quarterback, but I do think he will beat the Broncos.
Joe?
This is where the Broncos screw up of when they're supposed to be losing to get better draft picks and manage to squeak out a win maybe. Although, yeah, the talented running back of Jonathan Taylor, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to handle that at all. This feels like one of those games they shouldn't win, but they do. But I don't know, man. Yeah, I'll go with my first instinct and say the Broncos win and it pisses everybody off.
Coming in off a bye, it's December in Denver. They'll have an extra time to prepare, so they'll come out with a win. Week 16, the Los Angeles Chargers host the Broncos at SoFi, 2:05 p.m. on Fox. Joe.
Well, even though the Broncos are playing at home, it's still, after beating the Chargers at home earlier in the year, I feel like they're going to slip up and lose this one at home to the Chargers.
Colin?
This might be one of those rare ones where the Broncos are not the home team in SoFi. Because I think the Broncos fans might be sick of it by the end of the season. So, yeah, it's the Chargers.
Harbaugh's not going to lose at Denver twice. So I will also be throwing an L. Oops, I put a C instead of an L. And week 17, the Broncos will be playing again. Oh, I forgot there's 18 games this year.
They're on to Cincinnati.
Yeah, we're going to Cincy. Colin?
Yeah, we know. The Bengals are going to be in the hunt for the best record in the NFL this year.
Joe?
The Broncos I'm kidding. It's the Bengals.
Marvin Lewis is no longer their coach. They don't drop these games.
Yeah, right.
Broncos can't beat the Bengals. They're too good. And then finally, week 18, the Kansas City Chiefs in Denver at Empower Field.
Yeah, that is another loss for the Broncos. I think it is the Chiefs and the Bengals in contention for the best record in the NFL this year.
Yeah. Joe?
Yeah, the only way the Broncos win is if the Chiefs bench all their starters, and they don't seem to like doing that. So I'm going to take Kansas City.
I don't even know if I like their odds if they bench all their starters.
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah.
Because then you get Samaje Perine in there running first-team reps against the Broncos.
You know what? He might end up being a pseudo starter. They might end up going with the other guys in that game because Perine kind of feels like they're like Juice McKinnon, who was a pseudo starter for them. Most passing situations he was out there.
Did I up it by 2 wins or did I up it by 1?
You upped it by 1.
Okay, I went up by 1.
You're at 3 now. Joe, you're at 6.
Nice.
I'm at 7.
So we got all the same ones, but
so
we got
some pretty much the same.
Okay.
I'm
the only one. I'm the only one drinking Broncos Kool-Aid. I'm the only Bo Nix fan here.
Yeah, Colin with his orange-colored glasses.
That just proves it. I thought that jumped up one. Nick, why do you hate the Broncos and Bo Nix so much?
Yeah, what's your problem? Are you just excited for Arch Manning?
They haven't proven anything yet. Yeah, I want Shedeur and Travis Hunter.
Oh, well, you're not going to get both of them.
Or no,
I guess you could. You could get a Houston Texans type haul, but they had some more draft picks.
Yeah. Here's the plan. What they do, they take Travis Hunter in the first round, passing on a quarterback, and then way late in the draft, take Braden Fowler-Nicolosi.
There you go. Everybody tuned in on Instagram. If you're tuned in over there, jump over to YouTube or Facebook. We are going to lose our stream because we only have an hour, and we're going to do the victory formation now. So if you want to learn how to bet, Colin's favorite part, jump over real quick because we're going to have to end the stream on Instagram.
This is the victory formation.
All right, boys, here we go. Best play in football. 6 right tight diamond victory on 1. Break.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
The Pick'em segment, proving that Colin Zanker is the most humble man in the history of time. At least. Featuring Nick Archuleta wishing he was somewhere else. And Joe Goodwin just kind of winging it.
You know how you know that this is my favorite segment of the day because I don't have to pull my hair out thinking about the Broncos drafting Nicolosi as their next quarterback. If I never have to hear that name again, synonymous with the Broncos, it'll be too soon that day.
Future Broncos quarterback.
Right. Dude, I didn't even say anything about that.
I know, Joe did. You didn't he said you draft Travis Hunter and then you go and draft Nicolosi in the 6th round. Oh my God. All right. Well, thanks for that, Joe. Really appreciate it. Well, let's
same pick as Tom Brady. You take Braden Fowler and Nicolosi. It almost sounds like Brady.
Speaking of losers, None of us swept this last set of games that we chose. One of us went 2-1. The other two of us went 1 and 2. Yeah. I did that right.
Yeah.
So let's start off with the game. None of us swept any of the games either. So whatever. Yankees versus Tigers. This was 2 weeks ago because I was a genius and forgot my laptop in Colorado. So I was on vacation, didn't join the show. We chose Yankees versus Tigers, Sunday Night Baseball. Nick, you remember how this one went?
Yeah, the Yankees didn't show up.
Extra innings, and the Tigers won 3-2 in Williamsport. Joe remembers it because he was the only one to choose the Tigers to beat the Yankees. We move on. That one, 18-33. The Tigers were actually favored in that game against New York. We move on to our preseason game from week 2, where it was the Lions versus the Chiefs. Well, the Lions were the big underdog at plus 260. Y'all were drinking the Patrick Mahomes preseason Kool-Aid. That would be Joe and Nick. So you both lost that game, meaning I was the only one to choose the Lions, winning $36. And then we moved on to the WNBA, where the Seattle Storm, they caught a fever and they lost to Indiana. And Joe, you were the only one to choose the Seattle Storm. So Nick and I got that both right, winning 23-60, meaning I went 2-1. Nick and Joe were 1 and 2. I won 49-60 this week. Nick stayed above being under this week at $3.60. And Joe, you only lost $1.67 thanks to extra innings in Williamsport. Nick, you stay over the $600 mark, 608.17. Joe, second place, 498.01. And watch out with my $49. I'm in third, but only $20 behind you at 476.81. And it's football season, so be afraid. Be very, very afraid. Before we get to our football picks for this week, because we will have our next show after week 1 of the Denver Broncos, we are going to start things off with the Aces, Las Vegas Aces versus the Sun in the WNBA. Aces 20-12, Sun 24-8. Nick, who you got?
I'm going to go with the Aces.
Las Vegas Aces. All right, Joe, who you got?
Yeah, Aces seems like a good pick.
Okay, well, I am going with the home team with the better record because that's how the WNBA is decided, right? Cool.
Sure.
We move on to Sunday Night Baseball. And, another, definitely one of Nick's favorite teams is playing in this game. And I don't mean the visiting team. The D-backs are visiting Houston to play the Astros. Joe, who you got?
I don't know. Are the D-backs still pretty good this year?
Yep.
And the Astros, they're just, the Astros are always pretty good. Fuck it. Let's take the D-backs.
Joe is taking
I'll take the giant douche over the turd sandwich.
I really want to take the D-backs too, Joe, but I got to stick with Nick's second favorite team and take the Astros at home. All right, so Nick's taking Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
Just because you can't choose the Astros.
Hell no.
All right, let's move on to some real football. Let's move on to football and real football games. First game up is the Ravens versus the Chiefs.
Oof.
Oh, man, these games this week. This is not a good betting weekend. I already said it. The one bet you do want to make is the Atlanta Falcons to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in week 1, as the Steelers will be looking ahead to that week 2 matchup against the Broncos. Take the -3 and enjoy your money. But this Ravens-Chiefs game, I am going with the Ravens. Nick.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a good week 1 matchup, but Chiefs start slow and Lamar has something to prove. So give me Baltimore.
Joe.
I was thinking the whole time, fuck it, Kansas City. They're gonna come out. It's their Super Bowl defending, game or whatever. So they're gonna come out. Obviously, they don't have Hollywood, but they're going to go out there and try to prove a point. I feel like Rashee Rice, Pacheco have good games. And maybe Kelsey defies age and scores 7 touchdowns.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I think I have the memory from the Lions beating them last year in my head. All right, we move on to the Packers versus the Eagles in Brazil. How's your Portuguese? And also, how's your list of rules? Did you guys hear about this set of rules that they have for their game? They can't go
Yeah.
This is
outside.
one
They
of my
can't have their
favorite things.
phone. They can't wear green.
Can't wear
I'm like,
green.
it's the Packers and Eagles, and you can't wear green in Brazil. Great job.
Just
But we don't care
amazing.
about political upheaval and anything else that's going on and idiotic decisions by the NFL. We're just here to
who
pick
scheduled this game? Like, how did you not pick team? Like, both teams' predominant color. Like, you could maybe argue, it's Packers Eagles, right?
Yeah,
you could maybe argue the Packers' predominant color is yellow, but like, no, I don't think it is. Like, it's one of the stupidest decisions.
I've never seen a
Green
yellow. I've
Bay.
never seen a yellow Packers jersey.
There you go. Exactly. Yeah, Green Bay.
Green
Packers.
Bay.
Yeah, let's have Green Bay go play where you can't wear green.
And
too-
the Eagles.
It's wonderful.
All right, Nick. Who do you want to win? Who's going to win this game? Who's going to survive Brazil
Oi.
in more ways than one?
I'm gonna go with the Packers.
Joe, who you got?
This game feels like two teams that are going to stumble out the gate. Like, I feel like both teams are going to be trying to lose. It's going to feel like the whole time. Eagles look better on paper. Packers seem like a more complete team. Let's take the Packers. The Eagles still feel like they don't have their shit together after their playoff loss last year, and losing Jason Kelce can't help things.
I thought you did the switcheroo. I had you marked down for the Eagles. I thought you were going that way. I do agree with you. The Eagles look a lot different this year, and I'm not fully confident in them. But one of the reasons why they were not so good at the end of the season was injuries to Jalen Hurts. I think when fully healthy, the Eagles team is better than the Packers. Although I don't think they'll have a better season than the Packers. I think the Packers will advance further, but that's not for this segment. But I am taking the Eagles to win this game in Brazil. We move on to our last game of the week in our pick'em. It is the Matthew Stafford-led Rams against the Detroit Lions and Jared Goff, a rematch of last year's playoffs, and two teams that know each other all too well. Joe, who you got?
This one's tough. I got to stick with the team that looked better the last time we saw them. Got to go with the Lions.
Joe, I am fully in with you on that. And although I think the Lions might regress some this year, I think that they're going to beat the Rams in the first game. Nick, who you got?
They run the ball too much, and the Rams don't have Aaron Donald.
I was gonna go with the Lions too, because I was like, do I not go clean sweep?
All right, bet the Rams, everybody. Nick's on the Lions. Damn
Do it now.
Damn it! I should have gone with my gut before Nick said his and just changed it over to the Rams.
Well, I was doing the same thing. I was like, I'm gonna go with the Lions, and then you're like, I'm gonna go with the Lions too. And I'm like, damn it, is it a clean sweep?
There we go. So we know the Rams are going to win that one as usual. And Matthew Stafford gets his revenge for losing the game last year. He gave Jared Goff his comeuppance and said congratulations. And he says, hey, how do you like me now?
Now hold my beer.
Hold my beer. Just make sure to hold his wife from falling off stage.
Oh, well played, sir. Well played.
All
right.
That does it. We're going
Does
to... it might not be nighttime, but we're going to go night driving.
Very nice.
As we'll all be driving to our fantasy draft tonight.
That's the name of the song that we're listening to currently.
View House, right?
View House.
All right.
Centennial, if you want to come say hi and mess around and talk some shit about our drafts, feel free to stop by View House starting at 7 o'clock. We'll be there with the Undrafted Uncensored crew along with the Addison and Rice Car Rental Fantasy League.
There you go. So thanks everybody for tuning in today. Thank you, Michael Spillon, and everybody over at e5280sports.com for having us around. And thank you to Pikes Peak Sports Cards, our sponsor. Keeping us alive on the internet is all you wonderful people. So keep tuning in, keep watching, keep subscribing, and tell your moms, tell your friends, tell your mom's friends.
Please share, like, thank you.
Yes, please share,
And-
like, thank you.
Remember, the only one drinking the Broncos Kool-Aid who up their pick.
Yep,
This
Colin
guy.
got him for 3.
Oh, yeah.
3.